Okay, I think we'll get underway. I can sure hear me. I hope you can too. To begin with, I'll introduce the folks up here on the podium. Monica Brackman with IDNR, marketing here at World Shooting Complex. Jason Heffley, IDNR Chief of Staff from Springfield. Wayne Morris, ATA President for 2016, and I'm Lynn Gibson with the ATA. We have some folks we want to recognize here on the front row also. David Luchtenfeld, Senator for the state of Illinois. Jason Schlemme, Sparta City Mayor. Mark Kiana, Chairman of the Randolph County Commission. Ronnie White, Randolph County Commissioner. David Holder, Randolph County Commissioner. And Jerry Costello, Illinois Representative. And at this time, I'll turn the microphone over to Jason Heffley.
Thanks, Lynn. Pardon me, I've got a very bad back today. First of all, I want to thank Wayne and Lynn on behalf of IDNR for all of their help getting through this very difficult time. It's been a rough 6 months, and Lynn, even though he calls me a couple times a day almost, has been great to work with. So I think most of us know why we are here today. Can everyone hear me okay? This thing. As we are sitting here today, a press release is going out from DNR that begins today's announcement ensures the 2016 ATA Grand American will take place here in Sparta. How we got that done is through a memorandum of understanding with the ATA that reads, in the important part, in the event IDNR fails to open the facility by April 15th, 2016, IDNR and the ATA will endeavor to negotiate in good faith an amendment to the lease agreement, allowing the ATA to use the facility to host and otherwise conduct all shooting and camping activities at the facility. And we will release the MOU after this meeting, along with the statement from IDNR Director Rosenthal. Just kind of two, and we'll take questions at the end, so everyone will hold their questions until after the folks from the ATA speak. Two pertinent things for everyone to understand before they see this. One, when they see this, you will notice that this agreement was signed in October. We have had this in place since October. When we did that in October, it was done as an insurance policy. We always had hoped and assumed that we would have a budget and therefore not need this. But the ATA, as a national event, needed to make an announcement sooner rather than later to allow their members and the folks that make their summer travel plans early that the Grand would in fact be here in Sparta. The second thing you will notice in the Memorandum of Understanding is a lack of terms. As we sit here today and agreed to in October, we have not, cannot, and will not negotiate the terms before the April 15th date, and that is done for legal reasons. So I know there might be a question as who's going to man this, who's doing this, who's doing. None of those will be answered. None of those will be discussed until after the April 15th. Our hope is that we never actually execute this April 15th option, but it is there to ensure that the event will be here in Sparta. So that is all I have for now. Like I said, I'll answer questions after these two speak. But again, for all of you that care about the shooting complex, these guys are the ones that bent over backwards to get this done. So I thank them again on behalf of the state. So with that, I turn it over to Wayne Morris, who is the chairman of the ATA, or president.
President. I'm going to keep this real short. Today, I hope we end up ending the anxiety that our membership has had, the community here. It's been a stressful time. I want to thank Jason and Monica, Director Wayne Rosenthal from their side. I want to thank all the members of the ATA Executive Committee, Lynn in particular. I know how stressful it's been for him. I want to thank the staff, because I'm sure it's been stressful in the office too. I also want to recognize, sometimes people pick on lawyers, but I want to recognize the attorneys that were involved in this agreement too. They were very instrumental in making this work. With that, I just want to say thank you to everybody, and I'm going to turn it over.
Just a few more comments and a couple of announcements that I'd like to make today, take this occasion to make, and then we'll move on to questions. Again, I'd like to thank everyone that's here. I appreciate the media being here, appreciate the shooters I see in the audience being here, the folks from the area, the Friends group, taking time out of your day to come. It shows that you care, and we care too. That's why we're here. There was a lot of folks involved in the creation of this memorandum of understanding, and it's a relief to me and to the membership that we will once again host the Grand American at this truly phenomenal and one-of-a-kind world-class facility here. If there's a silver lining to this situation, I think it will be that there's now a heightened awareness of just how in 10 years this facility has become an important anchor to this community and region, and also to the state of Illinois. Unlike nearly any other state park anywhere, the economic impact is tremendous. In addition to the direct revenue from on-site fees, there's thousands of folks that come to the area every year, and this represents significant tax revenue. It's been our home for 10 years, and we want it to continue to be far into the future. I'd like to thank the area residents that expressed their wish to see this facility continue to operate and grow, and again, the many officials that have made this possible. I can't say enough about the help that Jason has been in this process. It's truly a breath of fresh air. Jason's very professional, patient, mostly with me, and again, I look forward to working with Jason and the IDNR staff far into the future. A couple other brief announcements. We're recording this today. We're videotaping this. The internet's a wonderful thing, but sometimes things on blogs on the internet get turned around. So we're videotaping this today so that our membership all across the nation and the world actually can see that the Grand will be here and can be as confident as we are that it'll be another fantastic year in Sparta. We've got signature sponsors for the Grand American this year for the first time, Bill and Leanne Martin. They're no stranger to anyone around the trapshooting community. They're our most prolific benefactors that our sport's ever seen, and they are the first signature sponsors of any Grand American in history this year. That's about all I have. Make your plans. The Grand American will be here from July 28th to August 13th. So go ahead and plan on being here, because we're sure going to be. Thank you very much.
With that, we're happy to try to answer questions. If we get too many, we'll kind of pull over to the side. I don't, want to turn this into a town hall meeting, but I know that there are probably some questions that we didn't cover. We tried to be as brief as we possibly could. Yes, sir.
You mentioned this 2016. What about after that?
What we're dealing with, our intention is for the Grand to remain here for as long as Lynn's around. We'll put it at that. But obviously all this is done with the backdrop of the state's budget situation, and through that process we've had some folks put in uncomfortable positions at our properties, such as the ATA. So our immediate concern was to work something out with them to ensure that they were secured here for 2016. Our hope is that we have a budget by 2017, and that we won't have any problems going forward. So our immediate thing was just to deal with this year. Yes, sir.
What about the AIM and SCTP?
I think AIM is.
Yeah,
AIM's for sure. SCTP I can't speak to right now. All I will say about the SCTP shoot that is generally in July is they don't have the advocate that the ATA does in Lynn, number one, and number two, that they were given all the same options to stick with us. So what they choose to do, and I don't think the final decision has been made, but what they choose to do is on them.
What about
I mean, our hope, I mean, again, we are working every day to find funding, and our hope is the General Assembly passes a balanced budget so that we can open up. I mean, this is not the only DNR property shut down right now. You know, our hope is that that happens sooner rather than later, and that is in our plans. Again, full funding for the shooting complex was included in the governor's budget. Yes, ma'am.
During the period that they need to be here and be here preparing for everything, et cetera, will Congress be able to
That during your when we said, I mean that is an item that we have not negotiated. Again, we I don't mean to use that as a crutch to not answer questions, but anything that would be triggered by the April 15th agreement cannot and has not been negotiated. But we'll, you know, I think all things are on the table once we get to that point, if we get to that. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Just ask you a question about management. Should there be a state budget that pulls together, how will management of this complex change from the IDR?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we don't know what would be in our budget yet. As those of you that are close to the facility know, is that me? Those of you that are close to the facility and me know that we were working very closely with a group that we put together to change the management structure here. We felt it's very important from the administration's point of view to have a shooting professional running the shooting complex. And we were moving towards that before the budget impasse. I would hope that we would continue down that path, but you know, I think that this is, I mean, I think we can close the deficit that this place runs by a lot, you know, and keep it doing what it was intended to do with a little bit better management.
We would encourage you to keep moving forward.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Would that be after the April deadline was passed, saying that the budget was passed, or actually be at the complex? Is that going to have a more strategic sales and marketing campaign?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's, we're talking hypothetical getting a budget, but you know, our intent is to maximize use of this place. We don't think not only shooting but multi-use. You know, there's a lot of things we could do here to bring money into the state and make it not run the deficit that it runs. So you know, we brought Monica. It's disappointing. We had a lot of things in place moving forward before the budget impasse. We had started the aggressive marketing, started the committee to bring new leadership and different style of management here before this, and our intent is to go back to that, assuming we get the funding. No, the agreement states, and you can see it, if we fail to open the facility, it has nothing to do with the budget. If we fail to open the facility, then we will negotiate with the ATA. Yes, sir.
I know there's a lot of anxiety as far as the long-term future of this complex in this area. Okay, so, and we're all pleased to see that there are some short-term solutions made in the right direction. But is there any consideration in conclusion to the 2016 season that the APA would maybe consider these situations again, provided there's another budget put together kind of better next year?
In 17? I mean, I don't want to speak for Lynn, but I'm guessing he doesn't want to go through this again.
I didn't hear your, is there any consideration what, I'm sorry. I've been around guns too long, I don't hear so well.
This is great to head this in the right direction. For 2016, it seems like this budget has been a terrific struggle for the state of Illinois. If it's a struggle next year, would there be a consideration to continue to have this complex open for the shooting?
That would be primarily up to the state as far as keeping the complex open. As far as us wanting to continue to have the Grand American here, we want to have it here forever. We're here to stay. There's no other facility half the size of this. And back in October, I started looking around, well, what are we going to do? the complex is closed out there, and what are we going to do about the Grand? And I started looking around and thinking, well, we might be able to do this, we might be able to do that, we might be able to do that. And then I thought, we got to figure out a way to have it here. We got to figure out a way to keep it here. If we don't have the Grand here, my fear would be that we would never see the Grand like we've come to know it. There just isn't, and the market's not strong enough yet, the shooting sports market, to support building another facility like this, to justify the cost. I don't think. Could be wrong. I didn't do any in-depth research, but it seemed like the solution was to keep trying to figure out how to keep the Grand American right here in Sparta, and that's what I intend to do.
And they have a Hall of Fame to open.
Terry's here, the curator of the Trapshooting Hall of Fame. Fixtures have started to be moved in to the Hall of Fame. The interior fixtures, the building is 99% complete, I believe. Just a few punch list items. The artifacts and displays will start being moved in March. Is that right? I think it's March. I'd have to look at my notes to be sure, but I believe we'll start seeing the exhibits move in, and the Hall of Fame should be open to some extent for this year's Grand American.
Yes, sir.
I keep hearing these rumors about outsourcing this place, but somebody else occupies the space and selling it. Somebody else is moving and running around line. I've heard several rumors of this over the course of this all going on. The state can't come to an agreement. Will they outsource it, let somebody else take it over? Or is it,
I don't think any options are off the table. My preference is to run it. They put out an RFI to see the interest in that a year ago and got no interest. I don't know if that's a possibility. I think, again, with the right management and the right goals, I think we can close the gap significantly for the state and make it profitable ourselves. But I think everything's on the table. We don't know. We don't have a budget. I mean, if it's defund, I mean, if we can't get funding for this, will we put it out and see if anyone else? Probably. But I don't think it gets there.
still paying state workers to be here? Why do you keep?
Again, that's a legal issue. There's situations like that all over the state, unfortunately. And I know there's some frustration. We missed some big shoots at the end of last year. That's it. Because of the litigation between the unions and the state, some things just don't make sense. Yes, sir. It's very true. Yes, from my end. Again, I would say I made every offer. I mean, not to drag him into this, but Lynn tried to help me as best he could. The ATA, as a whole, believes in this, even though it's not there. So we reached out. My offer's on the table to them, which was, tell me what you want and let me see if I can get it, and they didn't respond. So they are under contract for 2017, so if they even if they left in 16, they would be back in 17.
Just a few comments of mine on that. The SCTP's been on board and aware of the MOU for weeks, probably months. And we have a partnership with SCTP, the ATA does. And we're very interested in hoping that SCTP is here and stays here. So I felt that we were obliged to keep them in the loop and appraised, and I exuded the confidence that I had that the Grand American was going to be here, and I'm as confident today as I've ever been that the Grand American is going to be here. But what they decide is their decision. It's not mine, and it's not Jason's. I mean, to some extent, it possibly is, I guess. But I certainly have done everything I could to retain them, and that's why the MOU covers the months when they would be here. We want them here. The ATA wants all the activity possible at this facility, and like you say, the SCTP tournament is the second largest event here, and we want that here. And anything else that comes up, shooting or non-shooting, we want to see that. We're a member of this community too, and we want to see this grow and prosper. So we've done everything we can to reassure SCTP and make them achieve a level of comfort at being here.
That's it? Oh, sorry. I just wasn't making an announcement for them. I just wasn't making an announcement for them. I would assume they were going in that direction. They haven't returned my emails in weeks. Yes, sir. That moves away from me into the front row over here. I mean, I don't know where they're at. Yeah. That's been the trick of this whole thing, is educating the board that's not from Illinois what in the world is going on here in Illinois. So. Anything else? If anyone has any other questions, I think Lynn and I will be available up here. Again, we appreciate it. We're excited that we got this done. We look forward to being here in August and the rest of the year as soon as we get a budget that funds us. So thank you all very, very much. Copies of the MOU and the release are up here for those of you that like that.